Hi, Statesman Nation. This is Wade Steinluggy, Assistant Athletic Director for Communications here at William Penn, and this is the inaugural weekly press conference for William Penn Athletics. We're going to find a really cool name for this at some point, but right now it's just a weekly press conference, and we are joined by a lot of awesome individuals. I'm just going to go kind of around the horn and introduce everybody so they don't have to do it themselves and speed up the process a little bit, but this is an opportunity for our coaches and student athletes to be able to be interviewed and talk with the local media. Hopefully, maybe we'll be able to pull in some area, maybe regional media down the road. But again, it's just an opportunity to hopefully get William Penn a little more footprint in the area and everything. And so we're really excited about it. Either way, so I'm going to go around the horn, like I said, introduce everybody for themselves. So in the top left corner, we have head women's volleyball coach Lauren Eldridge, as well as senior libero Cecily Lippard out of Lincoln, Nebraska. I'm here talking top middle. Top right corner is Marquise Knighton, senior football player out of Fullerton, California. Andy Commons is in the left middle. He is the head women's soccer coach of William Penn. Smack dab in the middle of your Brady Bunch picture formation here, that is Todd Hafner, our head football coach. Olivia Silva is a women's soccer player for William Penn. On the right in the middle. Bottom left corner is Simon Brown, head men's soccer coach. And then in the last two squares there, Sam Parsons is the sports director for KBOE and KMZN here in Oskaloosa. And finally, Ken Alsup is in the bottom right corner, and he runs Oskaloosa News media outlet. So again, thank you everyone for joining us today. And without further ado, I'm going to kind of throw it out to Ken and Sam and see if they have any questions to start us off here.
Well, just kind of getting a little bit of a curiosity about the football season, and also, I mean, this sort of format. What brought about this format that you guys were interested in doing?
Well, I'll answer the format thing. Like I said, I guess making sure that if I understand the question right, Ken, just the format of us trying to get the athletes and coaches in front of the media. Is that what you were asking?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Like I said, it was Nick brought it up to me a couple weeks ago and said, do you think this could be something we could do? And I said, well, we can certainly try. It's worth a try to kind of do a all in one hit here once a week and have an opportunity. It's very difficult, obviously, for coaches and media to get on the same page across the board. So instead of you guys having to set up multiple interview sessions, hopefully this will work a little bit better, and we can go this route of again, just putting all the eggs in one basket here, and you guys can talk to a lot of coaches and a lot of student athletes in one shot.
Right. And I didn't mean to exclude anybody. I just typically go by football is typically that sport that is the banner carrier of a university or college. So,
sure. So, Coach Hafner, if you can talk a little bit about the football program, namely, obviously, last Saturday's game against Mid-American Nazarene.
Yep. Yeah, as far as the season's gone, I tell the kids, every week that we're proud of how they are playing. It's not a matter of effort or energy or, anything like that. We're executing very well in two phases of the game. We're executing very well on special teams. I think we've blocked 5 kicks so far. We've recovered an onside kick. Defensively, our defense has done a really good job as far as limiting teams. We're offensively, we've shot ourselves in the foot a little bit. We've missed some opportunities. With all of the changes, we're trying to find our way just a little bit as far as who needs to be where and some different things like that. But the biggest part offensively that we need to start doing is we start taking care of the football. I mean, we've in 3 games we've turned it over 12 times, I think. So obviously we're putting our defense in some terrible situations to try and overcome. And I think as far as that, if we can eliminate, the turnovers, we're going to give ourselves a much better chance.
And Todd, if I can here, just a follow-up question from Saturday's game. I know that you started Sterling Ramsey at quarterback, first time this season that he was starting for you. I know that we've talked in the past about kind of expecting growing pains with a new offensive philosophy this year, very different from what it was last year. But is Spencer the guy going forward for you? And if he is, what are your expectations just for growth for the rest of the year?
Yeah, Sterling will be our starter moving forward. We had two opportunities within the first 7 or 8 minutes of the game on some long throws that just didn't get caught, and for one reason or another. And so, that would have sure changed the face of the game. But Sterling really did play well. He did a good job of finding open receivers. There are going to be growing pains, and we understand that. I think to help alleviate some of the growing pains, if we can continue to run the ball like we did on Saturday, that was our first game where we were, in the 150 to 160 yards rushing. And as long as we can continue to supplement, the run game with the pass game instead of, the other way around, I think that we'll be a lot better off. And so, yes, there will be growing pains. Yes, Sterling will be our quarterback moving forward, and we're looking forward to seeing his growth.
Okay, Sam or Ken, would you like to ask any questions with our other coaches?
I don't, unfortunately, I don't. So probably I would defer to Sam then if he's got anything else.
Well, I guess just going straight down the list here, I'll ask Lauren. I know you guys had a pretty big upset this week against a ranked opponent. What were some of your just general observations from that game, and what do you think a win like that means, especially with the team kind of winning, I believe, 5 straight games at this point? What do you think that win in particular means for the team right now?
Going into the weekend, we knew we had a tough weekend with Valley and CMU is a top conference team. They usually go to nationals the last 4 or 5 years. And so coming into that, we knew it was going to be a big game. The last few years, they've ended our season. So that was kind of the mentality coming into that game, that what was that feeling of the last 2 years that our season ended because of this team that we're playing. So we came in, I think, with that feeling in the back of our heads that we didn't want to feel that way again. And so we had a really good team effort from set 1 to set 5. Everybody stepped up, played their role, and played their part in the game.
Awesome. Thank you.
Cecily, well, kind of add to that a little bit. You are a senior, and you've been part of those direct losses the last couple of years. CMU has been a thorn in William Penn's side. So talk about the nice revenge, so to speak, victory on Saturday.
Yeah, CMU is a really good team. They're a good competition for us, and it does suck to know that we lost to them the last 2 years in the first round of postseason. We gave a really good fight my sophomore year. We took them 5 and kind of dug ourselves a hole and ended up losing. So that was tough, and they swept us last year. But I think we've got the mentality that that's just not going to happen anymore. We've seen some really good competition early on in the preseason. We met with some ranked teams that were out of conference, and they really showed us what the conference would look like. The conference is kind of, there have been upsets everywhere. We've seen people beating Grandview left and right, which is nearly unheard of. But we had the mentality going into the season that we were going to take down the entire conference, and that's where we're at right now. We're going to get there, and we're going to get it done.
And Cecily, I also wanted to ask you, just looking at the result from that CMU game and the fact that you guys won the first 2 sets, dropped the next 2 before getting that 5th set win, especially with the 4th set being 25-11 loss. So what was the meeting with the team like after that set, and what do you think it says about your mental toughness as a team that you're able to bounce back from that, come back from two straight sets lost, and then beat a top 15 ranked team like that?
Yeah, those conversations in the huddle definitely get a little up close and personal in situations like that. We as a team understand that we need to be able to adjust a little bit better. We're definitely working on that because teams have showed us that they adjust to us and we need to be able to do the same thing back. We need to definitely learn how to finish. Obviously, we could have had that done in 3. So we're going to work on that, definitely. But in situations like that, we kind of get on each other a little bit and say, listen, it's time to go. And if that means we have to get a little bit upset with not each other, but with how the game is going physically to get it done, then we got to get it done.
Lauren, one more question. Very different team since 2 Fridays ago when you guys were swept against Waldorf and Trinity International. Came back, took care of business the next day. Now you guys are riding actually a 5-match winning streak dating back to 2 Saturdays ago. And you have to throw this in the mix. All conference player of Corinne Lepper not playing over the weekend. I know she was unavailable due to a wedding. So what does that say about the team? And the team morale right now has to be through the roof.
Yeah, I mean, I talk about from day one that the depth that we have this year, we have depth in every position. So somebody's not playing their game, we have somebody that can step up in that 3rd or 4th spot. And that showed this weekend with Kate stepping up into Corinne's starting middle spot. We didn't even have any other options, and Kate rose to the occasion. Super proud of her to do that. She did a good job for us this weekend. But it just shows that we have that depth in every position, and we weren't happy with our outcome of our Labor Day tournament. So we knew we had to change something. And I think they understood that those games that we lost against Waldorf and Trinity were games that we could have won. We should have won. And I was like, why are we playing like that on paper when we look so good? In practice, we look really good. So it's like, we got to turn it on. This is conference time. We can't, any night is anybody's game. So we just can't let up even on the easy teams. Like Cecily talked about, Grandview's lost. And then Grandview beat CMU this weekend. So this year in conference, it's going to be a big battle.
Definitely. Thank you. All right. I'm going to switch gears a little bit here. Sam, at any point, definitely interrupt me and, take over. You're the media member. Your questions are definitely going to be better than mine, I'm sure. But I'm just going to jump
Don't
around.
Don't give me that much credit.
Oh, I'm sure they will be. Either way. All right. Mr. Marquise Knighton, we are in the same office. So as soon as I stop talking, then I'm going to turn off my mic so we're not echoing over each other. But talk a little bit about the defense right now. The team obviously is not in the position you'd want to be in, but just the morale from a player perspective and just where you guys are, where you feel like you're succeeding, where you feel like you're falling back a little bit.
As a defense, we're just I feel like our morale as a whole defense is just very high right now. Honestly, at the end of the day, we feel that we could go out there and compete with anybody, from the Grandviews to the Bakers to the Benedictines, and we've proven that these past 3 weeks as a defense. And I just feel like we just have the confidence to go out there and beat anybody on any given day. And we're consistently working on just doing our jobs. Everybody staying playing their part. At the end of the day, we know that the offense will come along and it will happen. And so, we're just going to keep fighting for them at the end of the day. And we look at it as a competition every day to, just get better. And overall, we're doing that every week. And so, as a defense, as a leader of the defense, I'm very happy that our guys go in every week knowing that, hey, we have the opportunity to hold this team to this amount of points or at least keep our offense in the game. And, hey, when they do come around, we're going to be dangerous. So that's how we feel as a whole defense.
Marquise, I also wanted to ask, I know that your role within this defense is very centralized on stopping the run. You're a very big deal of this defense in your ability to do that. So what's your approach been in practice? What have been some of the things that you guys have been working on in practice defensively to work on run stopping recently? And as a senior leader in that regard, what have been some of the things that you've done with some of your teammates for that?
We just, as a whole, as for stopping the defense, we just tell each other to just fly around to the ball. And, that is a big thing when it comes to run defense and just stopping the run at the end of the day, because the pass is different because, you got somebody, a corner and the safety trying to make a tackle, and it's hard for a linebacker to get there sometimes. But, as for run, you got to fly around. We do a lot of pursuit drill. We do a lot of drills that pertain to run stopping. So, you know, at the end of the day, that is what we as a defense want to do. We want to stop the run. And secondary comes to pass. But at the end of the day, if you stop the run, the team is going to have to throw the ball on you. And so you got to pride yourself on stopping the run. And that's what I pride myself on that, you know, and I take ownership. And hey, if that's a big run, that's on me. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, that's my job to take up double teams and you know, get those linebackers in space to make plays on the run. So, you know, we pride ourselves on defense and stopping the run, and all the stuff we do in practice, pursuit drills to tackling drills to all this, that is what helps you stop the run.
Thank you very much.
Switching over to talking to the soccer teams now. First off, Coach Commons, you guys have actually been on a bit of a break here. Probably not exactly by design, maybe by design. You can talk about that, but you haven't played since the second, and you guys, both the men and women, open up at Graceland on Wednesday. So talk about, I guess, what you guys have been doing during this this break. It'll be 12 days between games.
Yeah, to be fair, it is by design. I'm not sure I wanted 12 days, but I wanted more than we normally get. You know, generally once the season starts, it's 2 games a week, no matter what. So I tried to create a schedule this year where we had one sort of break early after a couple games and one sort of late 2/3 of the way through the season, you know, for 2 reasons: to get healthy and also to, you know, have an opportunity to work on those things that you feel like you need to work on. Sometimes when you're at 2 games a week, you know, you're either recovering from a game or prepping for a game. You don't really have a lot of opportunity to work on things that you really want to get down and dirty and work on and get after it in practice. And this allowed us to do that. So we've had last 3 or 4 practices have been our best practices of the year. High tempo, great positive energy. And, you know, we're looking forward to Wednesday's game at Graceland.
Healthy wise, the team, I hadn't heard anything, but I feel like I'm sometimes the last one to find out about injuries. So
I think you're always dealing with knocks and bruises. The team has been dealing with passing off different colds here for the last 2 or 3 weeks, and so that hasn't been great. We even had a little bout with COVID with a couple players, so we're on the backside of all that. The knocks and bruises, of course, you know, you get a nice week off of not playing a game, and those are healing up. So we go into the game Graceland, you know, I'd probably say 90% healthy with, you know, a bulk of our players available to play.
Yeah. Livia, we're going to ask you a couple questions here. Coming from the player perspective, you are also kind of a pseudo graduate assistant, correct? I know you're not really doing anything with that at this point, working still on your playing career, but transferring over from South Carolina State, how has the transition been for you?
I think it's been really nice also with the girls, and I mean, just playing soccer is what I love. So I think the chemistry with the girls is pretty good. So it's been pretty easy to transfer from there.
Great. Have you been able to step into a role right away as a leader, even though you are a newcomer?
I think so. I think my personality, like I'm big on the field. I talk a lot. So I think as a leader role, it comes together as one, because not being a leader for me is having leaders or not having leaders is something that I don't really care about, or being a leader. But I just think my voice is really like powerful in the game or with the girls. So I think I am a leader for some of them.
Sure. Finally for you, what is the last, I guess we're looking at 10 days right now, but this break here, how good has it been for you guys to just kind of, like Coach said, regroup a little bit, look at what you're lacking, maybe what you're really good at, and continue to build upon that. But how important has this break been going into conference season?
I think it's been really good. And like Coach said, the last 2 sessions that we had was really good, really intense. So like possession wise, that's what we want to do, build it from the back and have the possession and be able to score more goals during the season. So I think the break also to get healthier and also to practice on those things, I think it's been really good.
Thank you. Coach Commons, one more question for you before I go down to Simon. Pretty stiff non-conference schedule. Bellevue, Morningside, Briarcliff, all pretty solid squads there. Briarcliff is receiving votes. How do you feel like those 3 games have prepared you for going into conference?
Yeah, I feel like we progressively got better. We started 7 and 8 freshmen every game. We knew going into this season that we were going to be a young team. And, we start 7 or 8 freshmen. At one point in time, we had 9 freshmen on the field. So we knew early on we were going to take our lumps. Now, had I wished we weren't playing 3 of really solid teams right away when we're taking our lumps. Yeah, that'd have been nice. But, our last game, the second half, was probably our best half of the year. So you could see some things coming together, starting to get some concepts and understand formation wise and in our defensive sets and those kind of things like that. So that's all coming together. And like I said, I think that prepared us very, very well for conference. I've been telling the girls since day one, it's all about conference. It's all about conference. Don't worry about wins and losses right now. It's all about when we get to conference. Those are the games that matter. So
definitely. All right, Coach Brown, you're on the hot seat. All right, let's talk about last Saturday, Hannibal LaGrange, 0-0 game up until the last 8-9 minutes there. Penalty kick ended up being the difference. Got the victory. I know you probably would have liked to have had a little more cushion there, but a nice victory over a pretty solid Hannibal LaGrange team. How's the team looking going into conference here?
Yeah, kind of echoing what Andy says. The importance of conference is it's the most important thing. You obviously want good performances, things like that, so that as a coach you feel good about your team going into these games, because they're so tough and everyone's gonna you're gonna get everybody's best. But we're doing so many things right, and then the one thing we're missing is the most important thing, which is putting the ball in the back of the net and scoring goals. So again, we're keeping clean sheets. We're limiting teams to the 3 of the goals we conceded have been from outside 40 yards. So teams are scoring spectacular goals on us, and we're missing from 5 yards out. So we're on paper, stats, everything looks good, and we just need to do a better job of finding the back of the net. So we're not in a 0-0 position with 10 minutes to go and relying from a bit of help from the referee to get a PK to win us a game. So everybody's looking good. We need to, like I said, that one little piece is missing, but it just so happens that that's the most important piece. So
right, unfortunately,
for Coach Brown as well, if I can. I know that last season, Coach Brown was kind of characterized by some really high highs for your team, and this year heading in, you're kind of looking just for more consistency, replicating those highs on a more routine basis. I know it's not a big sample size that you're looking at so far this year with just 4 games, but how encouraged are you by the level of consistency that the team has shown so far?
Yeah, I feel when we lost the Midland game again, I was thinking back to the stuff that I had said before, and the second half against Midland, it was 15-1 on shots, and the one shot that they had was an own goal by us. So it was like, again, I know, like I trust the stats. Like, I'm a numbers guy, I get it. Like, if we're having 15 shots when other teams won, we're gonna win most games. We're gonna score more goals. Like, we know that consistent performance is gonna be there. Probably similar to the way football is talking, is that we've changed the way we've played quite a lot, and with that some growing pains, and we know that it's not always going to be perfect, but again, we have some great buy-in from the guys about the way that we want to play. After the season last year, as good as it finished, we had a lot of feedback from the guys about the style and the enjoyment. So again, got a lot of input from them about how we want to play and how we could be more consistent. So we're seeing a lot more of the ball. We're a lot more time on the ball. Just again, looking at the stats, which is great, because if we have the ball, we have more opportunities to score. And again, just like I said, it may look like it's 3-1. We obviously wanted to be 4-0 going in, but you can't have everything you want. But again, it'll set us up for the season. And I think that the consistency of performance is what we're looking for. And then we know that will lead into the consistency of results. And again, looking at the stats, the numbers don't lie, and we can kind of see that going forward.
Thank you very much.
Sam, anything else there?
That's about all
What's
I've
up with
got
soccer?
for right now. I hope my
Okay.
questions were all right.
They were great. All right, Coach Drake, on the pond, I believe, doing a little fishing, taking a little break to start the week. Coach Drake, can you hear us?
Yeah, can you hear me all right?
Yep, you're great. Okay. Coach Drake, you guys started the cross country season last Saturday over in Bettendorf at the St. Ambrose Invitational. Recap that meet a little bit on the men's and women's side. A couple of third place finishes for the teams.
Yeah, it was a hot day. It was like 90 degrees and sunny and no wind. So it's probably our hilliest course of the season. So I was taking all those things into account. We did well, and we didn't back off at all of our training leading into that race. So all things considered, we had a great day. I had a chance yesterday to kind of sit down and analyze the results a little more and compare previous seasons to this season. And we had a pretty good day for this time of year. And it's a good start for us.
Talking on the women's side first, Elizabeth Healy has always been a track athlete. She has switched over, or I shouldn't say switched over. She has added to her resume being cross country runner this fall, and she actually led your team on Saturday. I don't know if that was a surprise at all to you with her time, but just talk about her a little bit and what she's going to be able to add to the team.
Yes, that's actually pretty funny. I think for her, it's all a learning curve. So even when you run your first cross country race, you really learn how to, or you're starting to grasp how do you push yourself across, 3 miles, and for the men 5 miles across that whole race without, burning up or, slowing down or getting out too fast. So I think for her, the biggest thing is this is going to be a huge key for her in practice now. We've seen now what she can do in a race. And so it's really going to help us dial in more in practice now of where she can train and to give us a better picture of that. But she was tough. I mean, it was a hot day and she was out there just competing. And I think that's also just a great message to the team. We just got to go compete at sometimes, especially when we're tired. And I could tell it hurt. It was painful, but I was proud of her. She was out there looking like she was ready to fight somebody in a good way, right? So she was out there just competing hard. So I loved seeing that.
Definitely. Talking about the guys' side now, the top three that you were expecting: Max Finley, Brandon Williams, Jonah Heckenberg, finished 1, 2, 3, all within 20, 30 seconds, I believe, of each other. They're obviously going to lead your team this year. Talk about them a little bit, and then we'll get to talk about the rest of the group.
Yeah, they're tough. I mean, they train together. So like you said, that was totally expected for them to go out there and race together. And they really did a good job of running their own races, which I think when you have 3 guys that train together that are that run a little bit different, they did well to just let them each at certain points in the race run their own races. So Max, he likes to get out at the front and kind of stay at the front. I liked how patient they were at the beginning of the race. So Max stayed back a little bit, and then when it was time for him to move, he did. And then about 4 miles into the race is when Brandon started to move. He closed very well in the race. And so a big highlight of that is, I mean, obviously Max leading the team as a freshman, that's always amazing accomplishment. And so proud of him for that. Jonah ran 1 minute and 18 seconds faster, I believe, or 24. So it's over a minute and 15 seconds faster on the same course at the same meet a year ago. So he ran 28:06. I think he ran 29:24.9 the year prior. So huge improvement. And then Brandon, he ran an all-time personal best during that race, which on a hot, hilly course, our toughest course of the year, it shows that he's got a lot more to give. And he's probably PR every race for the next couple races, unless I put him to work pretty good during the week during practice. So really good things to come for those 3.
Awesome. You guys have built in purposely a week off this week, and then you guys will be back at it next week. But what are you looking at for training moving up into the next 2 weeks now that you've seen these times for your athletes, and now you know, I guess, how far you can push them.
Yeah, so really it doesn't change a ton. I told the team going into the race, we're not backing off, we're not cutting anything out. So it doesn't change a lot for us. It does help us when we go to our workouts. Now we have a tangible paces that we can start to look at and estimate. You know, we can take this data and go, okay, if you ran this much faster on this day and you ran this much faster at this next race, if it's the same course, we can try to get an idea of where we are comparatively. And so it'll help us in our workouts to be able to push those harder. But we're still building. I mean, honestly, we're still in a phase of our season. We've got over 8 weeks left of season. And so we've got a couple more weeks here where we're going to continue to build our mileage. We're not even at the peak of our training yet. And so we're still building into our season, and then we'll plane out or level off, if you will, for a little while before we start to prepare for the conference meet and the championship stretch of the season.
Sure. All right. Sam, anything for Coach Drake?
Oh, well, I was just kind of going to ask, with your season just starting here, how did it match up with your expectations going in your first meet, or just overall?
Yeah, so on the ladies' side, we had to hold somebody out of the race, which, if you look at I think where she would have finished, we could have actually gotten second on the women's side, and so that is even better than what I've expected on the ladies' side of things. And on the men's side, through 3 runners, we were second out there against 2 teams that have definitely improved from last season. St. Ambrose was 3rd in their conference last year in the CCAC, which is a strong conference. And so we were within a few points of them as far as just a 4th and 5th runner. So we definitely, it gives us good points to talk about in the off season, the how much the off season preparation matters. I think that a couple of our guys are feeling that they need to work into season a little more here, but as far as expectations go, I really, at the end of the day, it's just a piece of the puzzle. It's another workout for us at this point. So I'm looking forward to the rest of the season and just seeing how we improve meet to meet. And if we do, lighten up on certain things, that maybe what we should see that. So yeah, I think it's exciting. It's going to be good for us down the stretch here.
Awesome. Thank you.
Okay. Sam, any final questions for any of the coaches or student athletes?
That's about all I had. Thank you for your time, everybody.
Yeah, thank you, everybody. Once again, Statesmen Nation, we will be bringing you this weekly press conference every Monday morning. It will be put on all of our social media channels, YouTube, as well as I believe also on Facebook and Twitter. And we hope that Sam and other media members will be able to join us as much as possible. Otherwise, I will moderate, and you will get to see a lot of really good-looking statesmen on other little squares on the screen. Not so much of this guy, but everybody else. So once again, thank you, everybody, for joining us, and we will see you again next week. Thank you.
Bye.